Morning, students. Welcome back to biomedical writing course. And this session is about article and press release writing for biomedical subjects. So, as you all know that what the article is, and we'll see that what the basics of press release are, because these both are the documents which are usually considered for writing in when you're writing for the magazines, for the newspapers, and even for your companies or the organizations where you are working. Press release is also one of the marketing tools which is used by the companies to promote their product or any other kind of services they provide. Now, starting with the article, I would like to first introduce you to what, when we talk about the article, what exactly the article is. Any piece of write-up that is intended for a wider audience to give information or the opinion over a selected topic, which is published in newspaper, magazines, or also in the online forums. Earlier, the articles used to be in newspapers or the print media only, but nowadays we have the online forums also where the articles are published. But the blog post, as you have the separate session for the blog post. Here we are not talking about the blog articles. We are talking purely of the articles which are used in the other online forums like the digital newspapers or the digital magazines as well. So first of all, what an article presents. There are four different things which we do through the articles. One is the article describes any event or the product or the service or person or a place. So first you need to decide when you're starting an article, you have to be clear in your mind that what exactly you're going to describe, whether you're going to talk about the event, product, or you're going to talk about some person or some particular product. That is the most important thing. First you have to decide. And please, before writing down, uh, before starting the writing, just as we are seeing in this course, that first is the pre-writing things. That is the planning phase. Once you have the entire thing in your everything is planned. After that, when you start writing, the words will automatically come to you and you will feel more comfortable while developing the writing or writing or creating the sentences and the paragraphs. Second is the article discusses the opinion or the balanced argument. Either you are going to present your own opinion about the subject, event, or a product. If it is your own product, you are going to say the good things and you are going to give the opinions about the product. But if you are doing writing it neutrally, then you are going to do the balanced argument. You are going to present the positives as well as the negative part of your product or the services. You need to understand one thing, that if you are a sponsored writer for something, you are going to write in a different way. And if you are a generic writer, means you should present the balanced article, right, rather than just writing the good or writing the negative about anything. Because a good writer is someone who whose job is to give the right information rather than to give their views about what is wrong and what is right. So please carry this in mind always, that discuss either the opinion, and you write straight that you are giving the opinion. And if you are not giving the opinion, then you have to write the balanced argument where you give the positive aspects as well as the negative aspects about the event or the product or the service which you are describing. Third is the compare and contrast. You have to compare the two products. You must have seen the people comparing two particular models of mobile phones, or they are comparing two machineries or two digital platforms, or the services or the procedures or the process. Especially in medical science, you can compare the two group of patients, two particular hospitals you are going to compare, or two different procedures of performing the same surgery you are going to compare. All that comes in the compare and contrast. So if you know this, it will help you out in selecting your subject and the topic, and it will be helpful if the more you write those aspects which are normally not shared by other peers, then it becomes more probable that your article is read by the intended readers. Then we come it what it provides. It provides information. Either your article is giving any awareness, or you want to share some suggestion, advice, or helps in generating the leads at times. Sometimes you write an article to generate leads by telling something good about the product, but those kind of articles are mostly the sponsored articles where the companies or the stakeholders or the brands are going to pay you for that. So before just generically saying that I'm writing article does not make any sense. You need to decide what you are going to describe. You need to discuss what you are going to say, opinion, balanced argument. You are going to tell the 10 weak points, or you are going to tell me the 10 strong points of something. You must have seen that 7 benefits of running, 5 benefits of taking walk, 3 benefits of eating walnut. All these kind of articles, they are more read and more readable and more accessible for the readers. Then comes, what are the salient features of an article? First is, the article is published in the newspaper, magazine, blog, social media, or on digital platforms like apps, etc., for customers and the internal team. So the article, when you say article, it means it has been published, it is going to be published. And even though you are publishing your article maybe on your social media platforms, maybe on the Facebook, maybe on the LinkedIn is a very good platform for the professionals and the teachers to share their opinions and to share their articles, and that has a good reach. So even if you're not getting any opportunity to publish that in any newspaper or the magazine, you can easily publish on the LinkedIn. That's one of the best platforms for the good writers to publish their work, and it is free of cost. Then comes the tone of the writing. Tone, although we will separately deal with we will have a session on the tone of writing, but article can be formal and informal based on the target audience and the purpose intended to bring the action. So there are various kind of tone, and there are various techniques by which you can adjust the tone of your writing. And it is very important to consider that whether you are writing for the formal audience or informal audience, whether you are writing for your students, and accordingly you have to adjust the tone of your writing. Then interesting and entertaining. Your writing must be interesting. Interesting means you are not going to make your job to make it interesting lies second. First is your subject chosen should be interesting. You should feel that people should feel the need of that. It should be entertaining. It should give something new to think upon, because readers usually want something to think upon, something they have never heard of. So try to inculcate or include those parts where you think that something you are offering something new to the reader, that will make your writing or the article stand out definitely. Then it contains opinions, thoughts, point of view, and facts based on the evidence and the sources. If you're writing purely based on some clinical subjects, you must give the evidence. If you have came through some facts, just give those facts with the sources. And if you have the opinions, just share those opinions also, so that the reader can find that your thought process is original. You think from something, some new perspective, which will make your article more readable and more effective for the readers. And it should be less formal, and articles are usually less formal compared to the reports. When you talk about reports, reports are intended for a very small group of um, readers, which are defined in your particular profession. But articles can be read by different people. It is not necessary that always the doctor is reading the article. If it is a newspaper or in the magazine, anybody who is reading the magazine can read your news article. And that is why the language used should be more of generic, more of easy level. And for that, you can easily check out the readability and of your article through the various tools available online, and which will, these readability tools I'll also share in the future sessions, how you can check the readability online. There are tools available, and that will help you out in making your article more or less formal and more accessible for the readers. Then these are some of the pre-writing questions for the article. First is where. The article is going to publish where? In the newspaper, magazine, blog, social media, or digital platform for customers and internal teams. So where you are going to publish the article, if you know for before writing, if you know this question, that will help you out in making your choose in selecting the words, in creating sentences, in making paragraphs. This will help you out in deciding upon those parameters of writing. Then comes, who are the intended audience of my article? Doctors, technicians, nurses, salespeople, service engineers, management experts, whom you want the article to be read by. Because if you have, although anybody can read your article, but if you are clear that this particular person should find it interesting, then you must define those audience, and then accordingly you can give the information. Because if you are starting your article with just the definition of diabetes mellitus, and then your intended audience is the MD doctor, then that does not make any sense. So you have to understand the level of your audience, as we have seen the readers, when we have used the readers checklist. You must have seen that that guides us where what kind of a words to be used, what kind of a sentences to be used, what voice, active voice, passive voice, all those things, they help you out once you have the readers in your mind. Then comes what is the aim or the purpose of my article? Are you going to suggest something to inform or to teach people or the readers, or you want to just create the awareness about that particular topic? That must be clear in your mind. And or you want to describe or compare some therapy or the technology, so that they can opt for the one of the good options or best options which they consider for themselves. So accordingly, you should know that where your article is going to be published, who is the intended audience, and what is the aim or the purpose of my article. Then these are the steps, generic steps, although, but they are to be followed, not maybe in the sequence, but all these are somewhere involved when you are writing the article. Why you are made aware about this? Because most of the people, most of the unprofessional writers, what they do, they just pick up the pen or open the screen and start jotting down the words, which is the least effective and the most time wasting method of writing an article. First, you sit and do your research, what exactly you want to say, to whom you want to say, and where you are going to say this. Then write the introduction, just in your own words. Write the introduction, that what you want to say in that, what should, how will you will introduce the subject to the readers. Then develop the paragraph subheadings. Once you have given the rough idea, then develop the paragraph subheadings, then build the body paragraphs, then work on one paragraph at a time rather than going to write the entire story. And the more chunking, the more break your story into a small parts, the better will be your writing. Then make smooth transitions when you're turning from one paragraph to other. You must understand, as we have discussed in the previous sessions, that from one session to the other, one paragraph to the other paragraph, you have to transition so that the reader should get tangled to your writing rather than getting lost in what you have said. So then finally write the conclusion in 1 or 2 sentences first. And once you have done this, again, what is now missing, again do the research accordingly, and you will find that every time you go through this cycle of writing, your article becomes more and more legible, more readable, and more interesting and effective for your readers. Then styles and tones of article. One is the conversational tone. The tone of article should be interactive and engaging, means that just like I'm talking to you, this is my natural tone or the natural way to tell the things to others. So if I use the same thing, that becomes the conversational tone. The reader should feel that you're talking to the reader rather than you're just instructing or you're just dominating the reader. So that is the conversational tone, and which is quite a good tone if you are writing for some informal platforms like the magazines or the blogs, even on the online articles of the on the magazine websites. And then comes the anecdotes. Adding story excerpts is best to make the article interesting. You can take, you must have seen the articles where they in the doctor introduces or the biomedical writer introduces you to the situation that the doctor has taken so and so medicine and became afflicted with so and so symptom. what could be the reason, and then he starts the article that can paracetamol or can diclofenac cause this, because that is the way you introduce your subject. Anecdotes are the small stories or the small conversations you have with your patients, with your team, with your nurses, that adds the kind of an evidence or the kind of an sensitization about the subject, what you are going to describe in the article. Then comes the flashback. Use flashbacks to create the article plot. If you have flashback, means somewhere you go in your 10 years back, you were doing some experiment or the surgery, and then you talk about that surgery, that 10 years back I used to perform this surgery, and at that time this was the issue, but now the things have changed. Now we have more digital and more sophisticated technologies available to perform the same thing, and what I have done in 2 hours now could be done in 2 minutes. So that kind of a flashback you can add to make your articles more interesting. Then comes the comparisons. Using the comparisons make easy for the readers to understand the topic, because saying something good or saying something is bad is very easy, but when you compare with something, some equivalent thing or something which is of the same genera, then it becomes more easy for the readers to understand that why you are saying something is good or something is bad. So comparisons are one of the good things, one of the best things to describe in your articles, especially when writing for the life sciences or the biomedical sciences. Then comes the quotes. Quotes add meaning and beauty to the content. Always use the quotes, but quotes should be taken from the authentic sources rather than taking from anywhere, because online, if you find the same quote is given by the name of 4 different authors, but you must check that exactly, or there are various sites available, books available. You can, one of the sites, one of the books uh, available sources is the pdfdrive.com. I would like you all to go to that, and you can easily find many books related to where you can find the quotes, and where you can find the, even on the medical subjects, you can just type the uh, keywords related to like quotes in medical science, and you will get the entire book on that particular subject. So quotes add the meaning and the motivation to your writing. Then comes the facts. Use facts and reports where applicable to add credibility to the content. Use the facts, but the important thing is those facts are from the right sources, and always try to include uh, those references from where you have taken the facts. That is more important. Like if you are taking the facts from the WHO report, mention that, because that is going to add value to your writing. If you are taking it from the Ministry of Health, then you should write it down. If you are taking it from some good magazine, international magazine, or from some international NGO like UNICEF or somewhere, then must add those facts with the year of publication. That will add more authenticity to your articles. Then comes the foreshadow. Give the future predictions and estimates to entangle the reader with the subject discussions. Suppose if you want the readers to look into the future, think about how the future is going to get molded through your article, then you must tell them something that in the next 5 years, how this subject is going to change, how this particular subject is going to talked about in the coming time, like post-COVID era, how the medical practice could be. If the medical schools are conducting sessions virtually, then what could be the implications or on the clinical practice? And if you have studied the same things which you used to study in your hospital along the bedside, now you're studying through the YouTube video, how could it impact in the long run? So you must give them foreshadow for the readers to think that how the practice or how that particular subject is molding with the incoming time, and how the future can be impacted through those things. That will also add a new way or the more interest and engagement in your writing of the articles. Then these are the 5 tools which are available online. These are the name of the tool. You can just write down maybe, or you can in your free time, you can just open these tools. And this will help you out in article writing of any subject. But here we are talking about biomedical sciences. So just try out your subjects on these platforms. One is the Trello. Trello is the name, one of the sites or the tool available online. It helps to get the content ideas and assign the writing tasks to team members. So if you're writing in groups, it will help you out in giving the task. Suppose you are writing an article, You want to give that particular, the benefits of therapy, you have given it to some other doctor or your or another science colleague. And if you want to give some side effects, to write on the side effects, you have given it to somebody else. So Trello will help you in that. Then comes help me write. These are the post article ideas and share it and get access to plethora of different ideas. Then is the one look thesaurus. It is a reverse dictionary from thesaurus. It is also one of the tools you can use for article writing. Then comes the atomic writer, which assesses the writer with respect to the specific target audience. You can assess your writing, that whether you're writing for the right audience or not. This tool is also, there are other tools also available, but you don't have to worry much about it, because we are going to have a separate session on digital tools which can be used by the biomedical writers to make their activities or the task easier while making the write-ups. Then we have the Prewriting aid. Prewriting aid helps to highlight the overused words. Suppose some people have the tendency, everybody has a tendency to use certain words again and again. Maybe I also do that. So how you can remove that? Because when I'm speaking, it can be tolerated, but once you are writing something, the same word you are writing 10 times in 10 sentences, that makes the reader lose the interest in your writing. So to remove those overused words, to remove the redundancies, to plagiarism and sentence length, Prewriting aid is one of the tools available online to correct that. Then be objective and always write about all the sides of a chosen topic. Try to cover all sides if you want to cover the entire topic. But if you are, suppose you have decided that I'm going to just discuss the benefits of something, then focus on just the benefits. Don't go to the other direction. Whatever you have chosen, go in that direction, cover that thing completely. Then comes always write the headline which drapes the context of the article and should create curiosity. How to create good headlines, that is also another topic which we will discuss in one of our sessions. But here you just remember that nowadays people don't write every article completely. It is your headline that makes the first impression. And if your headline is grabbing the attention and people want to know about that headline context, they are going to read your article. So make your headlines punchy and clear to the readers. Then always maintain a flow of writing from introduction to conclusion that connects all the points. Don't make your story go hayway in the different directions in different paragraphs. Try that the story is going in the right particular direction, and that particular direction is making sense to the readers rather than making them confused about the subject. Always you will use the reliable source of information and cite the sources. Citing the sources makes you an authentic and genuine writer. As a biomedical or the life science student or the writer, your credibility depends on from where you take the information. You cannot take the information from some local source or the inauthentic source, which can be, because nowadays everything is online and there are various misguiding content also available. So never copy the content as it is, as it will lead to copyright and plagiarism issues. This lies everywhere. Although if you are publishing it online or on the social media, there are less chances that anybody will scream on you or anybody will question on your writing, but that does not give the good impression as a writer. So always try not to copy. And if you are copying something, or if you're writing taking from somebody's content, then do write down the source. That will make you an authentic and good writer. Then the basic structure of the article, as you all know, that first is the title or the topic, which should be catchy, fresh, makes the readers curious to think about the subject. Then comes the subheadings. Each paragraph should have the subheading. Then we have the introduction to define and create the base about the subject. Then the main body, 2 to 5 paragraphs, not more than that. Then finally the conclusion to end with the interesting climax that gives something new to the audience to learn, become aware and informed about the subject. So maintain this, although you can change and you can play with the this, but try to maintain this kind of a structure. More or less you can change it, more or less you can play with it, but overall gross structure remains the same. So conclusion cannot come at the top, or the title cannot go at the end. So those are the basic rules, but otherwise you can also try out the other combination from these main parts of your article. Then comes the next important area, which is the press release. And it is a great tool to develop your public relations strategy. You all know that the brands want to make their image in the market. They want to release, they always keep on releasing the new products, new services, and the new things for their customers. So what is the press release? Press release is the document containing information about the event or the happening related to an institution, government organization, or the corporate entity, released to media officially to spread the public or the audience at large. You can go through the newspaper and you will find that press releases are available, which are given by the institutions, government organizations, and the corporate entities. Whenever the organization introduces some new concept or some new product, they usually tell to the media or the press, mainstream press, that what they have done, so that people should come to know that what the new product is coming, or what the new movie is coming, or some new venture is launched. All these things are discussed in media through the press release. Press release is given by the PR department of any organization, and there are certain rules and the guidelines by which you have to write the press release. So here we are going to, in brief, we are going to discuss, so that you get an idea that what press release is and how it should be written by for the medical or the biomedical subjects, or the companies or the organizations. Press releases are short, compelling documents, detailed product releases, event announcements, or other newsworthy items that a company or the organization produces. As a responsible corporate of the country, it helps to take the business dealings of innovative tech startups and turn them into a press coverage. And a great press release do more than keep the media and the industry at large informed about what the company or the organization's recent developments are. It is not only that you are informing to the audience, you also want to develop the image of being transparent and being open to the market, and you should be able to develop the trust with the audience or the readers that you are a good organization and you care for your audience or the stakeholders. Press releases are meant to generate and enhance the interest of journalists, to make them seek to cover the subject. You want the journalists to seek more about the product or your services, and you want to establish the good reputation with them, with the media, with the newspapers mainly, especially the journalists, so that they are willing to cover your story and tell it to the more broader audience. Designing and crafting a great press release is often the first step in securing a magazine feature or a television interview, and thus more visibility and the new customers. The press release helps you out in gaining customers. Press release helps you in making reputation, in gaining trust, and it helps you gain the television interview as well. Because once people know that you are doing something new, you are launching some new product or the service, then maybe the new TV channels or the other magazines or other media will be interested to cover your senior management for the interviews and the further promotional mm, um, kind of promotional events and the marketing stuff. Then, considering that journalists are flooded with the potential stories, because newspaper have a lot of content with them, why they are going to publish your content, why they are going to publish what you are doing, what your company is doing, you need to understand that why your particular press release is important. That should be clear in your writing, so to make the journalist feel that they have something good in your writing. Then what are the basic elements of any press release? First of all, the press release has a date and location, and it is a very short shelf life document. You cannot do the event today and you can release the press release after 1 month. You have to release it within 24 to 48 hours. Then it will make more sense. It should detail the major event or the information that needs to be passed to target audience. Your title should define that what the basic, what you have launched, what the product you are bringing, what you have exactly done. You must have seen that The companies, they write that Tata launched so and so 2 hospitals in Punjab or Delhi. So this is the title. And new robotic surgery instrument is launched in so and so hospital. That gives exactly what you have done. So the target audience will notice why, because if you have introduced, suppose, robotic surgery, all the robotic surgeons will come to know that now this hospital has this, and they may approach you for the opportunities, or they may want to associate with you. Then every press release has 5 W's and 1 H, that is the what, who, when, where, and why, and how also is done, is also provided in the introductory paragraph. So elaborate the event, give the details of how the event or the achievement got in place, what is the idea behind it, why you have introduced robotic surgery in your hospital, who are the people involved, who is the main stakeholder, so that it should generate interest. It should have the interest of public in your what you are doing as a hospital or as a doctor, how you are going to benefit the society, and how the media can make it helpful for the general public, because newspaper are for the general public. If the journalists will find your press release that it consists of some information that is helpful for the readers, they are definitely going to include that, because this is not a paid service. Press releases are mostly journalists, they take it free of cost if they really make sense to the public. So give a background in the last paragraph, not in the beginning. Remember that background should be given in the last paragraph. You can give background about the institution or the company. Don't brag about yourself. Don't brag about the company, because press release is not about telling that you are good. Press release is about telling them how you are going to benefit the society. And once the press release message is over, at the end, you can give a brief background about your organization and the company, and where the people can contact for that particular service. That is the most important element of any press release. Then tips for the press release: informing about the event, highlights of the company, contribution of the company, beneficiaries of the company, target, mention the different group of people or the sectors targeted through the event. Suppose you are introducing robotic surgery, which group of patients are going to get benefited, which sectors are going to get benefited from this. Then storytelling, curate a story about the company that enables association of the target. How this story, you have to create a story where you are connecting with the reader. So make that story clear, that what exactly you want from the public, what exactly you want people to know. It's not like that you have introduced something, you are going to put some new machine in your company or the hospital, but how does it benefit and to whom it benefits? You have to create a story to link the two things, so that people will get interested in your press release. Then remember that nobody cares. It is not about that people care about you, how much you gained or what the new things you have in your organization. It is more of that what value you are going to give to them, that matters to them. So always, as in the beginning of this course, I told that it is not that what you are writing, nobody is going to check your writing. Everybody is interested in how your writing is going to help them. So press release is more about that how you are going to benefit that the reader or the stakeholders. As by the example of robotic surgery, I told, if you are introducing robotic surgery, which patients are going to get benefited, which doctors are going to get benefited, how the medical industry is going to get benefited, all those things are more important to them. Otherwise, nobody cares about how big is your company and how much you're going to earn from that particular new product. Then keep your goal in mind. The purpose of a press release is not to make your customers happy by touting minor product developments that no reporter would ever cover. So people, as I told you, it is not about the small things you tell that you have gained this much and you have sold this much product. That is not the goal of your writing. The goal is to tell them the exact thing, what is going to benefit them. Expert says that you should treat a press release as a purposeful document with a single goal: to elicit a call back from the reporter. Your press release should be so good that other newspapers, TV channels, media channels should approach you that what has been done, we want to know more about it. If your press release is doing that function, that makes your writing strong. And you should want someone to read your press release and then to pick up the phone and send you the email and say that We want to know more about your services. That's the final goal you want to share through your press release. Then consider do versus applaud press release. There are two styles of press release which with the long labels do versus applaud, that either your organization did something and you are bragging about it and you are applauding something, possibly someone else's achievement. So you can bask in reflected glory. Think of a non-profit's endorsement. What this means is you're not boasting or you're not glorifying your what you have achieved. That is not the press release. Again, indirectly, we are emphasizing that it is more of how the readers or how the stakeholders are going to benefit. That is more important in the press release. That you have to fit in all on just one page. Every press release should fit on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. That is a A4 size one paper. Better yet, don't fill the sheet. This is not a place for an essay or an event or a product. Write short paragraphs. 4 lines is the maximum you can write in press release. Use a lot of white space. As I told you, don't have to tell everything. You have to just instigate. You have to just sensitize what has happened so that people want to know more about what has happened. The point of a press release is not to give them everything. You have to understand that press release is a bait. Bait means you want to lure them. You want them to ask you for more. So you have to just, it is a sort of a teaser in the market that sensitizes the related stakeholders to take action and approach you. If you have just again the example of robotic surgery, if you are going to start a robotic surgery in your hospital, now you're not going to tell everything about the robotic surgery. You just introduce that what thing you have introduced and whom you are going to benefit, and then the people should or the doctors should approach you to know what you are offering and how they can learn from that and how they can associate in this particular thing with you. That's the job of a good press release. Then be direct in your headline. Don't hide anything. Don't create any kind of a unnecessary hype or the kind of a tease through your headlines. Be direct. If you are launching something, write down that we are launching Fortis Hospital launching robotic surgery machinery. Don't write that so and so hospital launched something which will be helpful. Don't hide the thing which you're launching. Don't hide the services, because once, as I told you, the headline is the main place where your writer or reader is going to get hooked to your press release. Do not delay the moment when journalists find out what this is all about. Tell them immediately, because you cannot waste the time of the journalists just to keep them in skeptical mode that what you're going to say. So be direct, be transparent, be upfront, and tell them in the headline that what exactly you want to tell to the audience. Then remember the long game. Press release is not about one day game. If you begin to deliver straightforward press release, if your press releases are good, journalists will like you. They will always try to cover your business. They will always try to give coverage to your in the newspapers. And if you are honest broker, you talk directly to them. Over time, that adds up, because every time you give good press release, you make good relation with the newspapers, and they will love to hear from you, and they themselves will promote your business. That's the goal or the objective of the good press release. Again, finally we came to the 7 tips that grab attention with a good headline. Get right to the point in the first paragraph. Include hard numbers and the facts. Make it grammatically flawless and perfect as much as possible. Include quotes whenever possible. Include your contact information, because finally in your organization, who is to be contacted for that particular product or particular service, you should just mention that at the end of your press release. 1 page is the best for press release. Max is the 2, but that should be rare. Then provide access to the more information and sources. You must give some link to your website or to the place or the name of a person where we can find more about that particular subject in your organization. With this, I would like to just close this session. We have learned 2 main things. One is the article writing for the newspapers and the magazines, and the other is the press release for the newspapers. Both of these tools are used in your self promotion, in used in for the marketing stuff, or used in your social media. And if you use these structures, it will be easier for you to write down uh, on any subject related to life sciences or the uh, biomedical sciences, and it will make your biomedical writing better and better every time you write on that. With this session is over, and we will see you maybe tomorrow on the live session, and the further sessions we have for you, where you can where we are going to introduce you to the various digital tools, how you can use digital freely available tools to improve your writing. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, and see you again.